Hello everybody, it is your boy NCS7 here, well, as I'm recording this right now, last weekend I went to Midwest Gaming Classic, this gaming exhibition thing that happens every year, and usually every year I make a video, whether it's doing like a tour video or like I did like music videos where I like mixed it up but today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to kind of describe to you what the event was like, and I'll have of course the footage and whatnot on screen. And I'm going to kind of explain what my thoughts were on it, and at the very end, I'm going to show the stuff that I picked up at the convention. So, let's get right into it. So, we're actually going to go floor by floor on this. So on the first floor, there was just like some card, games, like tabletop kind of games. Not really video game stuff. I didn't really dabble with that stuff. But the stuff really starts going at the second floor. They had like some arcade games and whatnot that were cool. I didn't really play many of them though. They also had like a thing, like a little sword area where like you carry like a sword and a shield and you try and like hit each other. They're like not real, of course. It was kind of like a little fun thing. I tried that out for a little bit and it was fun, but I wasn't really able to do it. Like, I only had to really do it on my own and not the next day, because the next day I went with my boys, Super Dude and Jason Buttholes. But that was still cool that they had that, and they also had like some more games down the hallway as well, and those were also not too bad. But honestly, I didn't really stay on the second floor too much because there wasn't like a lot there that like super interested me. So most of my time was spent on the third floor. And that's where the big main event is, with the two big rooms, the vendor hall, and then of course the gaming room. So we'll start with the vendor hall. The vendor hall was rather big, and there was a lot of stalls with a lot of cool stuff in there. And it was really good. They definitely had a lot of stuff, very similar to that of last year and the previous year. Though I didn't really find nearly as much stuff that I was willing to get. I think this was because I was wanting to try and get some 3DS games before, like, obviously if you know, the 3DS eShop just recently shut down. I wanted to try and get some games physically, but I didn't ultimately come out of it with a lot, so that's a bit of a shame. But they still had some cool things to look at and whatnot and stuff, and it's difficult to kind of say, but they definitely had a lot of good stuff. And while I'm glad that I didn't spend too much, I do kind of wish I was able to spend more, but oh well. But then there was, of course, the gaming room where you play the games and whatnot, and overall the gaming room, like, which was more of a, like, huge room, was honestly a bit underwhelming. I don't know, I feel like they had like, less games there than, like, they used to. I felt like there wasn't a lot of games there, and I also feel like some of the games just took up too much space. Like, there's like almost an entire row of computers that were nothing other than TF2. And I'm not dissing their preferences, but this is about discovery and finding like other games to play. So it's like, I kind of do feel like they should have had like more variety rather than having so much of it be like one game. And then they also had like the pinball and arcade games and whatnot, which I didn't really dabble with much, mostly just because those were I can kind of play those anywhere else. But yeah, and that's honestly really all I have to say for it. I have, of course, more footage rolling in the background that I'll be kind of going through while I talk about like my final thoughts on it. And if this was a short video, and that's because it kind of was. Well, there definitely was stuff to do, and I definitely didn't have the same feelings as I felt previous years where I felt kind of bored and whatnot. Honestly, looking back, I feel like this year could have been a little bit better. I think the gaming area should have had a lot more variety. There were a few games I played that I never played before that were interesting, but didn't end up getting them because they weren't on systems I owned. But I feel like they should have had more stuff like that. They should have had more variety and whatnot. I think some more party games would have been nice too. No Mario Kart 8 at all. They had Mario Kart Double Dash, but Mario Kart 8's where it's at. I feel like they could have done better with like the multiplayer stuff. And I think that, like, honestly, they should have just had more games in general in the gaming area that weren't just like arcade games or pinball games. I get that stuff's important too, but previous years I feel like they had more. In the vendor hall, I mean, I can't really say too much about that. I mean, they had a lot of cool stuff there, but I do kind of wish that they had some more 3DS stuff, but I might be being a douche right now. In fact, I might be being a douche throughout this whole video, so I do apologize for that. I also think the second floor could have had some more interesting stuff, but maybe that's just because it's been that way. It's kind of been the same for like the past couple of years, so maybe that's just because I've been to those, so I'm just kind of, it's kind of just not new to me, but still. But honestly, overall, I'm glad I went. I had fun, but I still think that they could have done a little bit better. Hopefully next year they can have some bigger stuff going, because I kind of felt like this year was going to be a bigger exhibition when it felt a little bit smaller, honestly. But hopefully next year can be a lot bigger. But the video ain't over yet, because I do have the pickups of stuff I got. So I've got Mario Party 10, which I played for a little bit. Obviously this game is not the best, but it was still a game I wanted to pick up. Then I got Assassin's Creed Odyssey. This is actually the first Assassin's Creed I've played. I played a little bit of it, and I'm not good at it at all. Go figure. But this is a game that like Jason Buttholes recommended to me, so I want to play more of this at some point. And then I did get some 3DS stuff. I did get both Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon, mostly because this is kind of, I wanted to get late cycle 3DS stuff, and this is kind of where it was at, so I got these. I want to play them at some point. I'm not like a big I'm not really into Pokemon, but I did figure I should get them maybe before they get expensive, because you know how Pokemon games get. And then the last 3DS game I got was Mario Party the Top 100. I only really got this just because of the fact that this is kind of the only other option as well. And it wasn't too much, so... And I've heard this one is also, just like Mario Party 10, not the best, so... I don't know, maybe I'll try this one out a little bit, but I'm not expecting the world from this. And then the game I probably spent the most money on was, Fairy Fencer F Advent Dark Force. I honestly got completely ripped off on this, because I ended up paying $75 for this when the game was actually like $60. I mean, it was sealed, sure, but sealed copies were $60 on eBay. So I overspent on this, and unfortunately, I did play an hour of the game, and it's subpar. It's okay, it's fine, but I wouldn't really say it's anything I would go back to. I mean, the art's good, and the voicing's pretty good, but other than that, I don't know. The reason I got this was because I never heard of it before, so I wanted to try something different and be more of an adventurer, and it seems I ended up getting a bit ripped off on this, so that kind of sucks, but yeah, I guess it's something to add to the collection, I suppose. And those were all the pickups I got. Not a lot of stuff, especially compared to last year, but last year I kind of overspent a bit. Overall, though, I did like the show. I thought it was really good, but I do hope that next year we can get a little bit more. Hopefully I didn't come off too douchey in this video. I'm kind of nervous about that. We'll see how other people respond to this in the comments. But anyways, if you guys were there as well, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this, well, I guess consider hitting the subscribe button. But I'd recommend checking out my other videos, because the other videos, the end cards, those will be more in line with what I normally do. So yeah, check those out. And anyways, I will see you guys in my next video. Peace out and take care.